Thanks, Stacey. Well, every month, online security expert David Papp joins us to discuss some of the top technology trends and how it affects you and your family. Joining us this morning, we're going to talk about how to keep your kids safe online. Thanks for coming in again, David.
Nice
to see you.
Anytime.
I think we're going to kind of rehash on subjects we've often talked about. And
Absolutely.
Many of us talk about it on a daily basis, but it's important to bring them up again.
Yeah.
And we'll start things off with online bullying and how prevalent it is and what we need to know to prevent it from happening, or at least take care of it when it does happen.
Well, the current, we call them the current millennials, or the I generation, definitely, the stats are that more than half of them, for teens, have engaged in or been bullied online at some point.
What does it mean to be bullied online?
It could be just making fun of somebody, excluding them, receiving hate, or some basically negative emails, negative text messages, negative Facebook messages, whatever it may be that make you don't feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So what can we do about that when it does occur?
I think it basically comes down to two things. One is education, so you've got to make sure that they're aware that they're doing this and that it's negative. And number two, to be open about it and talk to people, which frequently a lot of them don't. They keep it to themselves. They harness it inwards, and then it builds up. And usually, believe it or not, Mike, the people who are bullied end up becoming bullies themselves.
Really?
Yeah, that's what typically happens.
Okay, and quite often you were talking about people who are millennials. Let's go younger than that, though. Let's talk about kids when this happens and prevent it from happening. In fact, rules that we as parents we should be imposing upon our children,
which we don't.
Yes.
So you got to make sure you're open with your kids. You got to teach them about what's safe online. Be careful what you're sharing. The biggest culprit, I think, are social media sites, right? Facebook. It's a big popularity contest. How many people can I get to follow me? To build up my following. And we have to be careful with that, because what we're doing is we're setting this online reputation is what we have to be aware of. And an online reputation is going to haunt you when you go for a job and you can't figure out, Mike, why did I not get that job? I really thought I should have got that job. It's because they didn't like what they found online about you.
Right. Now, in terms of, you're talking about popularity is so important, and now this gives kids especially an opportunity to really prove they're popular. How many followers do you have?
Exactly.
How many friends do you have?
Exactly.
So what you're saying is it's really important to scrutinize who these people are.
You should be, absolutely. And then you also have to be careful, Mike, about what information you're sharing online. Don't broadcast to people that you're going on a trip, and then they wonder, why is their house broken into? Or why does identity theft occur? And then the other one that's pretty common is what kind of information you're sharing to not just your friends, Mike, but your friends of friends.
Well, that's the thing you have to realize. You figure, I can tell these people I'm going on holidays because they're my good friends. But like you say, they can share with their friends, who can share with their friends, and then before you know it, everybody knows you're going on holidays. Right. Let's talk about other things that are, pretty obvious stuff, but they come up all the time. For instance, virus protection. We heard a lot about that back in the day with Norton and McAfee and that type of thing. But is it just as important now, or do we have better equipment that prevents that from happening?
It's just as important. However, if you're running, for example, Microsoft Windows, it's built into the operating system now with Windows 10, and it's actually pretty good. So it's not as much of a concern, but it's something that you should still be aware of.
Something else that drives people nuts, including myself, is the changing of passwords. We get prompted to do it after a number of weeks, and in fact, some people, even here, they tell us, like, in 2 weeks you have to change your password. Would you like to do it now? No, I'll wait for the 2 weeks. But how important it is to keep changing those passwords? Well, it's extremely important because, and actually more importantly than that, is to make sure that you're not using the same password. So don't go back to
online.
It. And
no, online with all your different accounts.
Okay.
Because if they get access to one of your passwords, and we hear about it, Home Depot online gets compromised, Sony gets hacked, like all these online companies are getting hacked. What are they doing? They're taking all of that information, your usernames, your passwords, and they're trying it on all the big online accounts. So they're trying it on Amazon, they're trying it on eBay, they're trying it on PayPal. And so if you're using the same password across all of these accounts and devices, there you go. I mean, that's how they get in. All right. Okay. We could be discussing this for hours. There's so much information. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thank you so much for coming in, Dave. Anytime. If you'd like to follow David on Twitter, and who wouldn't? You've got a blog, davidpapp.com, and Twitter @DavidPapp.